Hey, Hawkeye fans, welcome back. Well, the Hawkeyes fell to UCLA. We are going to recap that game. We've also got a fantastic interview with Nick Jackson, who has just been absolutely stellar on the Iowa defense. We do not have a preview this week because we're heading into the bye week, but we hope you enjoy this full conversation with Nick Jackson, and we're so glad you're back. Welcome back to Talkin Hawks, presented by Hills Bank.
No matter where you are in life, Hills Bank is here to help you succeed.
Whether you're buying your first house, saving for your child's future, or preparing for retirement, you can count on the people at Hills Bank for the support you need to reach your goals.
It's easy to connect with a banker in person, over the phone, or on hillsbank.com.
Because we believe banking is better through human connection.
Hills Bank is an equal housing lender and FDIC member.
Hi, Matt.
Hey.
How's it going?
God is good.
Another day.
Yeah.
Why you say it like that?
I was a little bit off. Some people, I said that UCLA wasn't a great team, and I still don't think they're a great team, and yet they got us.
You don't know anything.
Apparently not.
That's what happens. You try so hard to be so neutral, and you try not to make too many big statements, and the time you do.
They're still not a great team. They outplayed us on Friday, but.
Well, with some pretty significant injuries
there
on our side.
There was definitely a lot that went on in that game.
Let's just say that. Well, they came out fiery. I will say that. Don't you think?
Yeah, they're starting, and I mentioned this, they're starting to find some footing now, but 3 straight wins for them, you got to give them credit.
Yeah, but it just seems like they were out for blood a little bit.
Not early.
I think so.
It took a little bit. We were
just
up 10-0.
Just because we were winning doesn't mean that they weren't playing
Yeah, it wasn't quite to the level that they were very consistent in the run game. And that started to show up more towards the end of the first quarter, but really second quarter, I felt like when they went 10-0, kind of seemed like that's where they found where they needed to be.
I guess. It just seemed like their vibe was
potentially, yeah.
Very violent in a football kind of way.
Sure.
You know?
Take your word for it.
All right. Well, tell me more. What else did you see? Because I'm not going to lie. We got to the third quarter. I finished the third quarter and I had my phone up on the nightstand and I was watching. And the third quarter was over and I was blinking, and then I was gone.
Well, it was unfortunate. Solon lost. So we're out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
We lost to Humboldt. Mm-hmm. And so on the 3-hour trip back, I recorded it on Hulu and then watched it.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly looking at the road.
Mm-hmm. Just listening.
Just listening as a podcast format with pictures.
Mm-hmm. But not looking at the pictures.
No.
Anyway. All right. Well, tell me more. So we got to see a quarterback that we don't really know too much about. Yeah.
It kind of an interesting thing all around. I mean, we started off nice. They threw a pick on the first drive to Zach Lutmer. Great. And it was underthrown. And I told that I had right on the previews. I said, we're going to get at least one. And we got 2. Mm-hmm. I knew we were going to be able to take advantage of some of that stuff. And so we get that. I'm surprised that we didn't take a shot. Now, here's the difference sometimes is that normally, at least in the 2, what? I'm setting all this up?
Yeah, no, you were wrong one time and you're like, normally, sometimes. You keep trying to it's not every time.
It's not all of the every time.
And I'm not saying definitively, but...
all of the time. Was that The Office? I think Kevin Malone says something like that. Anyway, oftentimes, on Friday night when you're in the hotel, and this is for both offensive coordinators that I played for, whether it was Coach Davis or whether it was Coach Brian Ferentz, the first 10 plays are relatively scripted. Now they've got okay, first play, we're going to run this. Second play, we're going to run this. Third play, we're going to run this. Fourth play, we're going to run this, right? There's first 10 plays that are scripted. That's barring that you get the ball in you're on your own 25-yard line, like a touchback, and then you start. Well, we got an interception. We're in plus territory. I don't know if that goes out the window per se, but I'm kind of surprised that we didn't take a shot right away. Instead, we did an outside zone. I think it was a read, but anyway, we get tackled for a 4-yard loss in their territory. I was just rather surprised. I think Lester's shown that he's willing to take some risks downfield, and he did later on our when we were backed up. It was 2nd and 17. I'll get to that. But I'm kind of surprised we didn't come out and take a shot right there. Play action, boom, we're in their territory. Either way, able to go down, get points. start off on a good foot. So there were some really good things. I like that we did the bubble with Jacob Gill. He came in motion, ran the bubble, and we'll come back to that actually later, talking about that specific play. But the fact that like we're trying to utilize other things to help the run game so that way they can't just key in on Caleb Johnson is good. The unfortunate thing is we couldn't really just get him going. There were a couple spurts there, not as consistent as it was against the Wisconsin game, but we're still, obviously you just got to go back to work and keep grinding. That's why you play the game, right? It's not done on paper based on we think this will happen. I mean, that's why you got to go play the game. So Brendan Sullivan used his legs a little bit, gets smacked. I didn't hear the official word on what he was out with. Did you?
I did not.
Okay.
You keep talking. I'm going to see if I can find it on Twitter. Excuse. That's funny.
Anyway, so he goes out. So Jackson Stratton enters the game.
Yeah.
Late in the game.
He does not have the typical quarterback look.
No. I liked his number though, because I was number 19 in high school. Oh. So I liked his number, 19. So obviously Cade McNamara out, concussion. Brendan Sullivan, not entirely sure exactly what it was. But the commentators were talking about it a lot, that it was a lower body injury and then he got smacked and then that was it. So I'm not entirely sure. And then Marco Lainez broke his hand. Obviously very sad to hear that because this probably would have been his moment. But Jackson Stratton goes in. I thought he did relatively well, considering.
I totally agree.
Like he drove them down for a touchdown. He got the ball back with 4.5 minutes down by 3. Unfortunately, we weren't able to convert. But like there are things there that looked good from him for a walk-on guy that probably wasn't prepared to play.
And that's been practicing as a linebacker for
a little bit, scout team linebacker.
Yeah.
At least that's what they were talking about. So I mean, like I'm not entirely sure how much game time he expected to see. I mean, there was a reason that even when Wisconsin was a blowout, Brendan Sullivan was still in because they just wanted to make sure that we kept it, right? Get Brendan more reps and hopefully not have to go that far down the depth chart. I thought this was going to be kind of like a Sam Brownlee of quarterbacks where he comes in and just does well. Because I think Sam Brownlee was like the 5th string running back. KF talked about him all the time, just being ready for your moment. But Jackson Stratton gets them down towards the end of the third quarter and he used his legs. What I think is one of the biggest plays in the game, it's 3rd and 19 and Jackson Stratton drops back to pass. The pocket collapses around him. He keeps his eyes downfield, but he elects not to throw it. And he runs forward and dives, gives Drew Stevens a chance. At this time, it's 17-10. Gives Drew Stevens a chance, who hits a 50-some yarder, but we get roughing the kicker. So we get the automatic first down. Jackson Stratton goes back out there, and they do enough to get in. They actually ran a double post concept, which is great. So essentially it's a 3-by-1 concept. You got one guy who's going to take out the middle field safety to take him so he can't play the big post. So again, it's a double post. It's the first post. He just has to beat the guy over top of him and then take the nearest safety, run through his, since he was on the left side, he'd run through his left shoulder or his right as we look at him to bring him away to go to the opposite sideline. And then Gill is going to be one-on-one with the corner and he just has to beat him inside. Number 2 is just running a quick outside, but the flat defender can't sit under anything. But essentially Gill set him up, boom, 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 one out, kind of set him up to go outside, did a little skip release down the field and then snapped it in. Now Jackson throws it behind him. If he hits him in stride, it's a touchdown. Throws it just a little bit behind him, which is fine. Kamari Bolton ends up cleaning it up and getting a touchdown. But the run on 3rd and 19 set all that up. So there were really good things that happened there. Second drive, I think, he gets the ball back, like I said, with 4.5. He just misses the comeback. We had the route, just unfortunately missed the ball. So every now and then you're going to have that, especially with somebody who I don't think he expected taking any snaps, let alone that many snaps. Running the ball, I already kind of talked about it. We weren't as consistent. We did actually try the triple option with Jackson Stratton in there. Ball got tipped, but there were actually, I think it might have just been dropped. But anyway, we tried to do that a couple things. UCLA was fundamentally sound. That's one of the things about the option is you can put guys in a position to be wrong, but if they're prepped for it, then everybody's got a thing. Okay, you only take the running back. You only take the quarterback. You only take the outside guy. And if they're able to flow and get there in time and everybody does their job, then it's really difficult. But so they defended it relatively well, even though Sullivan got out of the pocket a little bit. Jacob Gill had a great game. I think it was like 5 catches for 138 yards. I don't remember the last time I saw a receiver with that stat line. So it was good to see that involved. And the bubble was a big thing, but we ran the deep post. It was kind of like a deep inside post because Gill was the number 2 receiver, meaning he was closest to the ball. We did a fake outside zone. I mean, that's what having a dynamic running back does, is it allows you to use the play action. It was 2nd and 17. You're probably thinking, okay, they're just going to run, punt. But instead they do a play action with an inside post. He beats him over his face and Sullivan lays it out there for him. I thought Gill was a little bit quicker. I thought he was going to score that. But either way, able to get down the field and take advantage of at least field position in that moment. So, I mean, there were good things, but we just got to take care of the football.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, if you're going to play in a Coach Ferentz offense, you have to take care of the football. 3 turnovers. It's tough. Really tough.
Somebody said that he has an ankle sprain, Brendan. And then also that, and I know we're going to get to defense here in a second, but that Jay Higgins apparently has a quote unquote tissue issue. To me, it looked like a hamstring.
We'll get there.
Oh, you're not there yet?
No, still on offense. You want to talk about the 2 interceptions?
Okay.
I'm sorry. Do you want to get into the weeds? You want
Actually,
to know about what you saw?
know what's funny about that is that on Saturday I was at the Iowa wrestling duel versus Stanford, and I was standing on the I think it's the north side. Doesn't matter. And this guy was like, "Hey, I really like your podcast," and I was like, "Thanks." And he was like, "Yeah, I only really come to hear Matt's analysis."
Hey.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's great. Like, thanks for listening." And he was like, "No, I'm just kidding. You're good too." And I was like, "Oh, you don't have to say that." And he's like, "No, but Matt is really good." And I was like, "Well, he's good for something." Because he was like older guy. So I was just trying to
funny. Oh yeah, it was so good.
razz him up a little bit. Anyway, so people like it. So continue.
Okay, so the first interception, it was meant to be quick game. And what I mean by quick game is you take 3 steps, boom, ball's out. Okay, and you can see it. We ran a hitch on the front side. Weejan comes in motion, and he's supposed to run like a quick slant or kind of a crosser, and he's meant to hit in the middle of the field. Sullivan takes his steps, doesn't like the hitch because he's looking front side or to his right, doesn't like the hitch, and you can see him take his 3 steps and plant his foot, meaning ball is coming out. He doesn't like it. And instead of staying there, which I think he had a little bit more time in the pocket, either way, he rolls a little bit to get more space, resets his feet. But by then, I think it was either Jerry Abu or Seth Anderson. It's really hard for me to see the 0s or 6s on their jersey.
Oh.
They look very similar.
That's interesting because maybe it's because you were driving.
Oh, this is when I looked at it later.
Okay, continue.
And anyway, and so he starts rolling with Sullivan, which tells me that his route was done. Weejan runs his crosser. You can see him also turn and run back. So play already should have been dead. Right now afterwards, he rolls a little bit left and throws it downfield, gets picked. Essentially, it was meant to be quick game. He held on to it for a little too long. Whether it was the right read or not, it's just really tough to throw quick game late, especially when you have everybody kind of coming together. If you look at it, all 3 white jerseys are there, Weejan, Ortworth, and Seth Anderson, I'm going to call him. We're all in the same vicinity. So it's just tough. That means there's a lot of defenders in that area too, and it got picked off. The second one, Gill ran a whip route, as we would say. So it's a slant, and then you stick your foot in the ground and then whip back outside. So a slant is 3 steps inside or 3 steps vertical, and then you look inside. And so he's going to snap it back out. Well, then Sullivan starts moving a little bit. So now Gill starts thinking okay, well, now I'm going to make a play. Sullivan runs to his left, and it's really hard to throw well running to your left when you're a right-handed quarterback. He does that. Before. He doesn't have any power on it and gets picked.
What is that called? You've said it. What's that called? You say it.
And I say running left?
Yeah, running left and then throwing with your right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you call it something. You don't.
Bad. I don't. It's ill-advised.
No, I'm sorry. Continue.
I don't know what she's talking about. Anyway, so doesn't get a whole lot of power on it, gets picked. And then the fumble, you just normally don't see it. I think they just kind of took it from him. Because ball security's been pretty good. That's one thing that you are aware of when your quarterback takes off is just how secure that ball is. But I mean, that's not something that I expect to happen very often. Just a fluke thing. So 3 turnovers obviously doesn't help. So that's kind of the thing. But I think there were some good things from Jackson Stratton in his limited thing. And I'm sure Sullivan will come back and be good. And I'm not sure Cade's timeline, but I'll be kind of interested to see what happens with him too.
It didn't look like they had him travel. I didn't see him.
Didn't have Cade there at all?
I didn't think so. They didn't have him.
I think he was.
You saw him?
I think I saw him on the sideline, yes.
I just said that in such a... Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just don't know that I did, but possible.
I think he did.
Because he wasn't listed as a...
He wasn't listed at all.
No, I know. A captain. So.
Okay.
Interesting.
Maybe I was seeing things. Either way, defense. Go ahead.
Defense.
You can share what you had about Jay.
Yeah. From what I saw, they said, so on TV, they had said like, oh, it looks like it's a non-contact injury.
Which it was.
And so when I was watching it, it looked like a hammy. And so then Coach Ferentz said it was a tissue issue in his post-game press conference. So I'm just going to carefully conclude that it was a hamstring. Just a thought.
Yeah, you said it, not me. He did seem to grab.
I said it carefully.
He grabbed his leg. You said non-contact. What that just means is that he wasn't hit while he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
He was running. It was actually a throwaway ball, I'm pretty sure. He was just kind of following the play. All of a sudden it went on him. He tried to come back in later and he just couldn't get to the ball.
Yeah, they put him in the medical tent.
Well, he went in the
When he
medical
came
tent, came back out
Yeah.
after a couple plays. He was in, I think, for 2 or 3 plays, but dude just couldn't move. So they
Mhm.
pulled him back out.
That's tough.
So obviously we'll be thinking about him. It is nice that it's going into a bye week
Mm-hmm.
before the final couple games. So hopefully he can get healthy. I mean, anytime there's an All-American caliber player, you want him out there. Nick Jackson, on the other hand, was all over the place.
Mhm.
It was really good to see. On the preview, I had mentioned that, you know, the run game wasn't great. They had only had a guy over 50 yards a couple times. Their running back had 111 yards by the second quarter. So they found their rhythm running the football, which is, again, not something you see against Iowa. I mean, Iowa has kind of given up a few more yards, but it's always the bend, don't break mentality, you know? But we had a really hard time shedding blocks. I'm thinking of one play in particular. It was like a 3rd and short, and they do a fake dive pitch to the running back, and our corner just couldn't get off the block of the receiver or tight end or whatever when it would have been a true one-on-one tackle. So, I mean, there were just some things that is not characteristic of an Iowa team. You know, starting quarterback goes down, starting middle linebacker goes down, and then obviously not playing as well as I know we can.
So hold on a second. Just to back you up, UCLA has the worst rushing offense in college football, averaging just 73.9 yards per game. So you weren't wrong.
I wasn't wrong, but of course they find the way.
They had 106 yards with 10 minutes left in the second quarter.
Yep. Wild.
That was a tweet from David Eichholt that I just read.
Oh, you were just helping me out?
Yeah, just helping me out.
Look as stupid.
Just backing you up a little bit.
It's just one of those things. Sometimes I feel like everybody that plays Iowa, it doesn't matter what sport it is, they just hit their career high. No,
what was the game? Was it LSU in the national championship game with the women's basketball team the first time we went? And that girl, she hit like 1 3-pointer.
Yes.
Like all season. And she went off for like 6 in that game. Everyone's like, I can't believe it.
Yes. It's always against Iowa.
I swear. So there you go.
But defensively did pretty good. The difference in this game, and we had some picks. Quinn Schulte could have had another one. I know he's beating himself up over it. That was early on in the game. Could have potentially pushed it a little bit further out of reach. But the one at the goal line was huge. And then I already talked about Lutmer with his. The track down by Kyler Fisher on their fumble. And then 41, I'm blanking on his name right now. The guy who came in for Jay. Had picked it up in the end zone, which is an automatic touchback. I mean, there were some really like high effort plays. Unfortunately, it just wasn't good enough for the win.
I was just gonna, out of respect for the guy, I was just gonna go see what his name was.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm blanking right now. Normally, I have all this up there.
I know. What do you have up there, Matt?
Crap.
Oh, Rusty Van Wetzinga.
Van Wetzinga.
VAN.
Hold on.
WETZINGA.
Hold on. I gotta make sure you're talking about the linebacker or the fullback. I'm pretty sure that's the fullback.
Oh,
yep.
There's 241. Sorry,
yep,
I skipped right past him. Jaden Harrell.
There you go.
I think that's how you say his last name.
Yeah, I told you I got everything up
H-A-R-R-E-L-L.
here.
No, totally. Sorry.
Harrell.
Sorry, Rusty. You just got a shout out for no reason.
Well, because if there's ever a football name and a fullback, it's Rusty Van Wetzinga.
I like it.
I love it. Anyway, so it's just one of those things. Couldn't quite capitalize as often as we typically do, or at least, whatever. But in kind of true Iowa fashion, it came down to special teams. Their kicker made 2 from over 50. Mm-hmm. I handed it to him. Drew Stevens hit one from over 50, had another chance. Actually, I think that was the one that was the block. But that's what it came down to. We did enough bend not breaking, and that was the difference, was a field goal. So enough bend not breaking, just unfortunate that their special teams came out a little bit ahead.
Not bending.
We did bend, but we didn't break all the time. Bending not breaking is just giving up a field goal.
No, I know. I just felt like you were saying it wrong, so I was just trying to correct you. That's what I'm here for. All right. Anything else you want to say about the game? I heard the grass was decent. Apparently they came down and checked it before the game. Chad Leistick.
I don't want to hear about it.
What?
I don't want to hear about it.
Because it was so bad when you were there? Bad. What? What are you mad about?
It was so bad when I was there.
Oh, yeah.
9 years ago.
Yeah. The question is, would you rather have slippery Rose Bowl grass, or would you rather have icy pinstripe bowl grass?
I'd rather have, oh man, they were both so bad. You know what we didn't get to though?
What?
Is the unsung hero.
Okay.
So the unsung hero, brought to you by JB Roofing, is Jarrett Bowie Jr.
Okay.
So we bring Hayden Large in motion to help with the bubble. Okay. And the play we're specifically talking about is the bubble that we hit Jacob Gill. I think for about 35, 40 yards, gets inside the 5-yard line. Hayden Large has to take whoever shows up. He's first color because he's in motion. But Jarrett Bowie has to go all the way outside to make sure that the bubble works. So the way that it's coached is you have to get to their outside shoulder. Okay. Because their job, meaning the corner's job, is contained because they want to push everything back to the rest of the guys. They don't want to give up the sideline because there's nobody else. Sideline, yes, is an extra defender, but you want to force the guy with the ball to go back to all 10 of your other buddies so that way they can make the tackle. So how I coach it and what I saw was that the receiver, Jarrett Bowie, got to his upfield shoulder or his outside shoulder and forced the DB to go underneath him. What that does is, if he's on his upside shoulder, and he had to run to get there because they're both running to try and get the bubble. So Jarrett Bowie runs, gets to his upfield shoulder, or his outside shoulder. And what happens is if the corner does try to beat him there, he's already in position. I'll just block you from here because I'm already here, and then Jacob Gill can have a lane. What you try to force is that if you do get beat, which you don't want to get beat on the block, but if you do get beat, make him run back door because you expect your receiver to outrun him. So Jarrett Bowie gets to the front side, gets to the outside shoulder. DB does that and says, oh, well, I'm just going to beat him here. So he beats him there. But the problem is Jacob Gill is already out and running. And then Hayden Large kicks his guy out, and Jacob Gill, like I said, goes for 35, 40 yards. So just the little part of getting to his outside shoulder and forcing the DB to go underneath turns what could have been a 2-yard play into a 35-yard play. Just by knowing where to get to and knowing you're going to get beat potentially. So where do I want to get beat? Here, and the play still works. So, unsung hero, brought to you by JB Roofing, is Jarrett Bowie.
Very good. So we're going to go, excuse me. Gosh, I just had a moment. We're going to get into our interview with Nick Jackson.
Really good.
He was so funny, like unexpectedly funny. When he walked in, so first of all, he was like 15 minutes early. Is that right?
Yeah.
Which was so hilarious because I was going to text you because we drove separate, and I was going to text you and be like, hey, like I get this vibe from Nick Jackson, just from the short amount that I've talked to him, that he's going to be early. So hopefully you're there before me. And what do you know? He showed up so early.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was so great. And he totally was kind of what I expected, like serious and very well-spoken, like knew exactly like how he should what's the word I'm looking for? Like portray himself or like hold himself, I guess, right? But then also he's hilarious.
He had lots of jokes.
He was so funny. And there were so many guys that like accidentally caught strays on that.
Oh, so many people caught strays.
Interview. And I was like, geez, Nick, you came in here and we just like.
Mason, I feel bad for you right now, man.
Oh. Mason is totally like gives me the vibe that he would just be the type to be like, it's fine. It's no big deal. No problem. But anyway, we hope you enjoyed this interview with Nick Jackson, and we will be right back. Need a new roof, gutter, or siding in Eastern Iowa? Call JB Roofing and Construction, the local and reliable roofer with over 20 years of experience. They do one roof at a time, unlike others who juggle multiple projects and cut corners. They also serve a 45-mile radius around Kelowna and help you with any insurance claims. Don't wait. Call 319-656-ROOF or visit their website, jbroofingkelowna.com, for a free estimate. JB Roofing and Construction, the small town roofer you can trust. Matt, did you know that Iowa City Tire does more than just tires?
Well, yeah, I mean, they've been servicing vehicles in the corridor for like 40 years.
Right, but did you really know that before someone had to tell you?
No.
Check out how they're doing things in a very different way at Iowa City Tire and Service, where service actually comes first.
The Appliance Barn offers a wide range of high-quality appliances at unbeatable prices.
Whether you're in the market for a new refrigerator, dishwasher, or washing machine, they've got you covered.
They also have a delivery and setup department to ensure your appliances get delivered and installed quickly. To find out more, visit appliancebarn.com.
All right, Talkin Hawks fans. Well, we've got another star from the defensive side of the ball. Everyone, please welcome Nick Jackson.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you guys for having me.
Well, we have you right before the UCLA game, which is interesting because obviously they just joined the Big Ten, but you guys are going to be playing on Friday out on the West Coast. Like, it's just a really interesting combination of things. How are you feeling about a Friday game?
Reminds me of high school, honestly, like, Friday Night Lights. But I mean, it's exciting. I mean, it's one of those things where you get to go out there and play in LA, which is another cool environment, the Rose Bowl Stadium, kind of like a bucket list stadium, honestly. So it's really exciting. You get to fly out and just have one of these experiences.
Yeah, super exciting. You played in the Rose Bowl
one
time.
You don't have to talk about it.
Did you catch that game, Nick, when they played in?
Why are we?
You guys played McCaffrey, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to say it like that.
It's I mean,
yeah.
I did score, so that's my claim to fame there.
There you go.
But we got whooped.
Well, Nick, we usually like to start these kind of podcasts just by like getting to know you as a person. 'Cause obviously, we know you as Nick Jackson, the guy that transferred in and has absolutely made waves on the defensive side of the ball. But with the helmet off, the pads off, all of the things, we just want to start kind of back, like where you grew up, siblings, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, and I went to the Lovett School in Atlanta, Georgia, and I loved it there, honestly. It's like one of those cliche things. It's like the Lovett School, so everyone's like, did you love it at Lovett? It's like one of those like cheesy things that you don't hear enough of. So that's why I just kind of bring that up so everyone knows that, like, I already heard that joke a million times. But
basically don't say it now.
Exactly. Like, please. I've heard enough. But I grew up, I don't have any biological siblings. Really close with like my best friend and his older brother, Kyle, and then Tyler Hamilton. So my family's just really close. But yeah, so did that in Atlanta. Then I went up to Virginia for 4 years and I graduated there. And then I came here last June. So that's kind of like my story in getting here.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we're going to get into a little bit more of that, but just kind of like growing up, what kind of other sports did you play?
So hold on. Did you recognize any of the names that he just said? So Kyle Hamilton is currently a safety in the NFL.
Okay, no, sorry.
I'm helping you.
Thank you. This is why you're here.
Yeah. So you guys went to the same high school?
No, so like we weren't going to the same high school because, I mean, we like to compete against each other too.
Gotcha.
But also, I mean, I don't think he wanted to go to the same high school as me, probably. That's probably a little beef right there, But I mean, I treat him like my brother, really.
Same. So he's got to be a little bit older, right?
He's 2 months younger.
2 months younger.
Yeah. So it's like we're the same age, but like, I mean, we did everything together growing up. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like parents were pretty much like, hey, stop playing in the backyard. You guys are fighting every day.
Oh.
So
you guys grew up close in proximity too then, right?
Yeah, I think his house is probably like a mile or two away. So like in the summertime, like he'd even just like walk over or I'd walk over to his house. And then like parents gone at work and we'd just be like in the kitchen like cooking dumplings because like that's the only thing we knew how to like make. So it's just like, I don't even know. But it was a really cool experience just growing up with him and just always competing and stuff with him. But yeah, I mean, that's like my brother.
That is so cool.
So how does that recruiting stuff kind of work there then? Obviously you went to Virginia, he went to Notre Dame, correct?
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't have the Notre Dame offer really. And so he'll make fun of me for that to this day. No, I mean, no shame to Notre Dame. I don't think I would have gone there anyway. But yeah, the recruiting stuff was interesting because I mean, he was like a 5-star, he had everything. I was like a higher 3-star, I think. So I had a decent amount of offers, but there was never any like envy towards it. It was more like we both had options to go to the next level. We went to different schools.
Right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So it was just a blessing in that.
Gotcha. Okay. So growing up too, did you play any other sports?
Yeah, I was a hooper. First love.
The amount.
The Twitter handle's Nick J Hoops.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
You know, Nick, the
great.
amount of guys that come on this podcast and claim that they are quote unquote hoopers.
Well, tell
Is
him
amazing.
what Jay said on our pod.
He said, and we've told almost everybody this, we got to bring Jay back on because we've been kind of talking smack a little bit. But he said that he's the LeBron of the football team. And I just
The
need,
LeBron.
Yeah.
That was, he dead face
Verbatim.
said that.
Mhm.
Verbatim.
we can find
Go
it.
back and watch the episode.
I'd give him like a. What's like a
Roll guy? Is that what you're
roll
looking
guy?
for?
A roll guy. Like that one dude from Duke a couple years ago. I think his name was like Jabril or something like that.
The one that broke his shoes?
No, not Zion.
No, he's
not
he's
Zion.
not Zion.
Zion.
No, he's not Zion. I give him like
Like
a
bounce like Zion.
maybe like a Sean Livingston, like a good role player.
A good guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
mid range,
That makes sense.
good kid. You know what I mean?
Is he in your starting five on the team?
I'd put him in my starting five.
Okay. Well.
He's not going to be the main character. You know? He's not going to be like, I think he played Troy Bolton in High School Musical in high school.
Wait,
In a High School Musical.
You're lying.
No, I'm dead serious. So like, yeah.
We might have to check that out.
What?
Yeah. So, but he wouldn't be like the Troy Bolton in like our team. You know what I mean? Like Hooper.
Are you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Understood.
Okay, well, let's round out the rest of the five. We had Ryan Allen talk about it. He said he's a six man.
Okay. So Brian Allen is more like just Powerball. Like,
I can.
Yeah.
that checks
it's
out.
just he's head down. He's just going to drive in the pain. Everybody's like, dude, I'm not trying to stop this on
Right.
a Wednesday. But
Yes.
I probably said me, YA, Jay. I haven't played with him, but I heard Kelby's pretty good. Kelby T-Lander.
Any of the linemen on there? O linemen?
No.
They all say they can hoop too.
O-line?
Mason Richmond said he'll get you at least eight points.
Mason Richmond's not getting 8
Man.
Mason Richmond's not getting 8 points on anybody.
Who? You said TJ might
No,
start.
that's just because he's a friend with
Ah,
TJ.
they're just boys.
Yeah,
Okay.
TJ, I'm sorry, brother. TJ's not that guy.
There's so much brutal honesty happening right
Oh
now.
my
It's
God.
the best.
What about Lachey?
Lachey, that's it. Yeah,
I
right
was
there.
gonna say, I
Looks
feel
a
like Luke
beast.
can play.
Yeah, looks a beast.
Okay.
Looks a beast.
Understood. So did you do the whole like AAU basketball travel
Yeah.
situation growing up?
Yeah, I did a bunch of that. We were just bouncing around teams growing up. It was super fun. You don't realize how much like time you have on weekends until you stop playing though.
Mm.
So it was super nice. Like when you kind of stop playing, you're
Sure.
like, okay, like I actually have a weekend. But that was like some of the most fun memories of my life. Yeah.
Did you play on a team with, I'm sorry, your friends?
Kyle, yeah.
Kyle,
we
yeah.
played on the same team growing
Did you?
up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was super cool. We just like got to travel on, did the whole Florida trips and all that stuff. So that was super fun.
Did you guys go all around the country? with any
Yeah, I
of
mean, I think we played tournaments in like Maryland. We played in this thing called like the NYBO when we were growing up. And then there was like the one of the circuits, I forget which one's which, but after that, so like I think we played in like Vegas, New Orleans,
Dang,
like
so-
all those. We had to travel around a lot. It was pretty cool.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, any baseball, any wrestling, any track, anything like that?
No, so baseball, my parents, like, I put the glove on my right hand when I was growing up and I'm right-handed. So I didn't really know like how that worked. So then they kind of like laughed at me and then like never let me play.
That was it.
Like I could have been Aaron Judge, but they didn't give me a chance because I was 5.
You had one chance.
You know what I mean? I had one shot. So, and then apparently like I was like running to the wrong base in T-ball. So
Mm.
yeah, I didn't get many opportunities. So I cut that quick.
Well, I mean, between the wrong hand and the wrong base,
I was 5.
just saying you're 0 for 2.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm
What happened to 3 strikes? You know what I mean? I play any other sports? No, I didn't really do anything but basketball.
No track
football.
or anything?
No,
Or is that
no.
the same time as?
Track is track was spring. So
Track
I
is
didn't have that. I played like soccer when I was like 5.
Mhm.
But then I think I told my mom, she was like, how do you like soccer? And I was like, well, I just like it because after the game, we all get to play on the playground with the boys. So I was looking forward to that. Not the actual game. So I think basketball and football were like the only things I was actually locked in for.
So you said hoops was the first love.
Yeah.
So when did you realize like, all right, I guess football is going to be my ticket to wherever I want to go?
Yeah. So after my freshman year of high school, so like growing up, like my mom's like 5'10", and my dad's like
really tall.
6 foot, like barely. And basically like the doctors were telling me like, oh, you're gonna be like 6'4", 6'5".
Oh, you gave me that false hope.
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5", maybe 6'3" at the worst. So I'm sitting there like, oh, I'm a hooper for sure. Like this is
That's kind of sad. Actually.
So then like, you know, freshman year, I'm like looking at myself like, when's this thing gonna happen? When's this thing gonna happen? No. But yeah, it never happened. So I looked at my high school coach and I was like, I love football. And honestly, like our high school is like such a football school, you know, growing up in Georgia, like it's like football, they say like football is number 2, but they put up like the number 1 finger because they want to let you know that it's really number 1. But so like the love for football grew exponentially once you start getting those huge crowds and like Friday night lights and stuff like that versus like basketball, we had decent crowds, but it just wasn't the same, like whole city shut down, like getting ready for the game and stuff like that.
Did you go to a big school?
It was like 3A. So, I mean, it was like private school. It wasn't a big school, but we played against other bigger schools.
Okay.
But I want to say like Georgia goes up to 8A. So I don't think it's like that big. That wasn't really that big, like 150 a class.
That's still deep. Like
Decent
I'm from
set.
South Dakota. So like
Yeah.
we only went up to 2A.
Okay.
Yeah, we were 2A when I was there.
Okay. Yeah.
So like hearing like we were only 3 out of 8A is like wild.
Yeah, but there's some classes in Georgia it's like 4 or 5K, you know.
A class?
I'm guessing if you get up to 8A, or I guess you're pulling up for a bunch of different districts.
That's wild.
Yeah, so it was pretty big, but yeah. So once I got stuck at 6 foot and a half, 6'1" in shoes.
You're gonna be taller on pro day.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Put that out there. Yeah. You're gonna be good on pro.
So I got stuck there, and then just had to find a little position trying to get me to the next level.
Did you visit quite a few different schools, like when you were getting recruited?
Yeah, so out of high school, I visited a bunch of schools. My parents, God bless them, they took me all around the country to all like my offers and stuff like that. And basically, like they wanted me to narrow it down to like they're really big on academics. So it was more like they took me to Virginia, Northwestern, Duke the most. And it was basically kind of between those 3. Wow. And it kind of got to a point at the end of the recruiting where I was like looking at it and I was like, I knew I wanted to go to Virginia, but like I wanted something like my dad went to Virginia. Like everyone basically thought I was going to go to Virginia. And I was like looking for a reason. I was kind of just like a 17-year-old kid just being dumb, just looking for a reason like not to go to Virginia.
Right.
From like I wanted a school to like beat it out. And then I just looked at it and I was like, okay, this is dumb. Like just commit to Virginia. So then I committed there.
Nice. Dang, was your dad so excited?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So yeah, like when I said it, like I didn't tell him, like, cause we were all on our official visit and like we were sitting down honestly like in a couch and like surface like this. And I was like, I just told the coach, I was like, yeah, this is where I want to be. And my dad like stood up first. He was just like clapping. He was like, let's go, all this stuff. Cause it was his alma mater. Like it meant so much to him. Yeah. He had a bunch of his boys that are like, that work in the like football department there too. Mm-hmm. So like it was a really cool experience.
Did he play there?
No, he didn't play there. He just went to school there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Very cool. What did he graduate with?
English degree.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he a teacher then?
No, he's not. He's a business owner. He started a marketing agency called Shared Vision in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. What's your mom do?
My mom's in insurance for the past 20 years. She just started a new job. She's gonna kill me if I can't get this right.
That's okay.
She just started a new job.
We'll cut this out.
She just started a new job, but she's still like doing insurance and brokerage and all that stuff. So
cool.
She just moved to Chicago and she started doing that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Do they travel around a lot to watch you play?
Oh yeah, they travel everywhere.
Yeah.
So my mom, she comes up from Chicago. My dad comes up from Atlanta like every weekend.
Really?
Unless they're sick, they're coming to a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they going to travel to UCLA?
Oh my God, they won't miss it for the world. Yeah. It's like a little vacation for them, honestly.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think I did see a picture of you like doing the hawk walk, giving your mom a hug and stuff like that. And that's just really special.
Yeah, it's super awesome. Cool. It's really awesome when your parents just, they're here and they sacrifice so much. So, I mean, I love them. I'm so thankful for them.
Oh, that's amazing. We have kids and we have a son. And so I'm like, man, someday I hope that he talks on a podcast or to somebody like, oh, I just love my mom.
Yeah. And dad.
I know, but the father, the mother-son relationship is special. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Don't you think?
Yeah. Well,
whatever.
Father, son too.
He's treading lightly. He's treading lightly because you're here. Oh, man. Okay, so go to Virginia. What was your experience like there?
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was like really cool. It's like you grow up with those guys for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just special. You know what I mean? Those guys, they mean a lot to me. It was fun. We had our coaching staff, the Bronco Mendenhall staff for the first 3 years. And then when he left, we had Coach Elliott. I mean, just 2 unbelievable coaches, great guys. And just like, it was just a great experience, from start to finish. We had COVID though, so that kind of took a lot out of it.
Right.
The end of my freshman year, beginning of my sophomore year, kind of like going through that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was awesome. And then just it was sad the way it ended. Like my senior year with the shootings. But after that, it was that spring semester was great, just filled with memories of just like great people, great guys, and got to graduate. And I always hold it close to my chest.
Yeah. Did you guys go to bowl games?
Yeah. So my freshman year, we went to the Orange Bowl, which is super sick.
Yeah.
That was like. Like you get there and you just think that that's like, the standard, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My sophomore year, our bowl game got canceled COVID. My junior year, we're about to pack up. Our bowl game's on like the 29th. We miss Christmas at home. Then the 26th, we get a Teamworks message. And it's like, hey guys, like don't pack your stuff up. Like we have too many guys that tested positive with COVID.
No way.
3 days?
3 days before the bowl game. So our bowl game got canceled again my junior year.
Man.
And then my senior year, we had to cancel we didn't finish our season because of the incident.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. We've been talking to so many guys too that get that talk about COVID. Just like a lot of guys too, like, yeah, my freshman year, like right when we got here, like we were stuck in the dorms. Who were we talking to for like 2 weeks? And they just had to like sit because they had to quarantine.
Probably like Jay. That's Jay's class. Like right when they got there.
Yeah. He's like, I mean, whoever it was like, yeah, I just had to sit in there with this like new roommate that I didn't really know. And we're in this like tiny box room for 2 weeks. I was like, that sounds smelly.
Yeah, that sounds trash. Yeah.
But yeah, you just, I guess we just kind of forget that, a lot of people went through that. Just like even their first and second years on campus. That would just be really tough.
Yeah.
Dang.
Locally owned and operated, Performance is a full-service restoration company serving Eastern Iowa.
As an IICRC certified firm, their multi-licensed technicians have decades of experience in water, mold, and fire mitigation. Whether it's your home or business, this is the team you want in a time of need. Performance Restoration, 319-626-2292.
Hey Hawk fans, looking for the perfect spot to fuel up before or celebrate after a Hawkeye win? Look no further than Marquee Pizzeria, located in the vibrant Iowa River Landing.
Their wood-fired pizzas have truly changed the pizza game.
Whether you're cheering on the Hawkeyes or just searching for a delicious meal, Marquee Pizzeria is the place to be. Swing by and experience the best pizza in Iowa. Go Hawks.
When it comes to keeping our home comfortable, we trust only the best. Loudon Plumbing and Heating. Whether it's fixing a leaky sink, keeping the house cool, or making sure the furnace runs smoothly in winter, Loudon Plumbing and Heating is our go-to. For reliable service, trust the corridor's best. Loudon Plumbing and Heating.
Looking to make a splash online in Eastern Iowa? Digital Boost is your local go-to digital marketing agency. They help local businesses connect with their ideal customers online.
Digital Boost has a diverse client base, ranging from small businesses to industry leaders, including well-known brands like DNR Pest Control and Advanced Millwork.
Visit their website at www.digitalboostia.com to learn more or contact them for a free in-person consultation.
So Matt, football season is very quickly winding down. Did you notice?
I did.
Yeah, because basketball season has already begun.
Mm-hmm.
Non-conference games. We're going to very quickly get into conference games, and it's going to be extremely exciting for both men's basketball and women's basketball at the University of Iowa. And you know where you can watch all of their games?
Where?
Do you know?
Where?
No, say.
Tell
you
me.
know. Big Grove Brewery. It's the official watch headquarters of the Iowa Hawkeyes. And like we said, football season is winding down, but we've got some extremely exciting basketball games and wrestling meets that are coming up. And you don't want to miss out on any of it. A lot of basketball games are played, and half of them are away. And not everybody can fit into Carver.
Laura, your math skills are on point right now.
You see how I do this? I've said no numbers. And yes, somehow here we are. So I just encourage everybody to get out to Big Grove Brewery on any game days at all for the Iowa Hawkeyes and get out there and watch your Hawks while drinking, an Easy Eddie or Boomtown, Matt?
Yeah, you shouldn't, but
I shouldn't, no.
Other people can.
Specifically me. But you got to get out to Big Grove Brewery because, as I said, it's the official watch headquarters of the Iowa Hawkeyes. And they're going to also be giving away tickets all season long for basketball and women's basketball. So go to biggrovebrewery.com/Hawkeyes to get in on that action. Okay, let's get back to the interview. Okay, so then transfer to Iowa.
Well, how does the transfer portal, everybody that talks about it says it's like a frenzy.
Oh my God, it was
because there's no rules, right?
There's literally
outside of when they can talk to you.
Yeah, so I basically I was lucky I had a good career at Virginia, so I was literally deciding, I was like, do I just declare or do I come back for another year? And then I basically just kept on talking. I was like, all right, what else is out there? Like how much football do I know? What else do I need a new environment? Something like that. Because being somewhere 5-6 years in the same spot is kind of hard, especially when you outgrow all your boys and stuff like that are going in the real world and stuff. And it's kind of a hard transition. So I was like, all right, let's just see what the transfer portal is about. It still leaves all the options there. You can still go back to Virginia. You can still declare for the draft. You can just see what hell happens. So then I got in and then just phones just started flooding. It was actually insane. So I got in basically at noon, and then I was driving back from Virginia to Atlanta because we were on break. And just the whole car ride, it was the fastest car ride ever because I was just getting calls the whole time. And it was just it's so weird because the transfer portal is, there's like you said, there's no rules. So it's you got coaches calling you. So it's all right, so is this just you're going to the highest bidder money wise, or you got coaches you want to come play real football, and then you got coaches within your conference that you just left, hey, you want to come play for me, and you're what's going on here? We just competed against each other,
right?
So it was a frenzy. That's the best way to describe it, like you said. But ultimately, just I didn't even know what Iowa really was. I remember watching Josie Jewell play a game in my room, but other than that, I was I didn't even know this was really a state. It's kind of
that's messed up, man.
No, I knew it was a state. I did know it was a state. But
academics were really important to my parents, but I don't know where Iowa is on the map, Nick.
Yeah, I know. I was I'm from Atlanta, so I'm you just Florida, Georgia, Bama, all that.
Yep.
But so then I was all right, I hear there's some good stuff going on up there. Let's just take a visit. So then Tyler Barnes takes me in his in the car when they picked me up from the airport on my visit, and I'm seeing buildings, and I'm this sounds so naive. It literally sounds so naive to me. I'm just what's going on here? It looks modern and stuff. I didn't even know what was going on in Iowa. So
this hurts so bad.
You're from Dakota, so
yeah, there's
that's kind of how I
there.
yeah. It's kind of how I still view it there.
Just keep going.
But I'm from the southeast. It's a whole different world.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
but
true.
I'm so naive. Looking back on it, I'm how did I why was I thinking like this?
He thought we were all Amish living in barns or something.
I didn't even know what I thought of the people. But
he was just happy.
It's been unbelievable since. Yeah. No
you
idea.
thought a horse and buggy was pulling up to the airport.
I wasn't even surprised. I would not have been surprised. I think when I got here, though, me and Jay. So Jay took me to.
Was he your host? Do you have hosts?
Yeah, he was my host. But when I actually got here on campus, I already committed in June. It was one of the first weekends, and Jay was like, "Hey, bro, let's go to Menards." So I'm thinking okay, let's go to Menards. In Atlanta, we have Home Depot, you know.
Sure.
What I mean? So I'm thinking Menards, what's Menards? So I don't know what we're about to get into. So then we pull up to Menards, and it's just Home Depot, basically. I'm oh, so what are we about to do here? And he's just oh, yeah, let's look at this wood thing or something like that. I was all right, whatever. But we leave, basically. And there's a little horse and carriage, and there's people all that stuff.
Well, Kelowna's just down the road.
Yeah, so I was okay, maybe I wasn't too far off.
Have you been to Kelowna?
No.
You got to go.
You got to go because when you're going down there on Highway 1, there's the car like lanes, and then there's an extended lane on the far side where they put blinders on the horses, and then they take horse and buggy because they don't use cars. And like that, that's a real Amish country. I'm not lying. It's like 15 minutes south.
Wow. All right. I got to try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 15 minutes. They got some really good cheese curds and other stuff down there too.
Yeah, they
Okay.
make all like homemade
definitely-
cheese curds.
Cheese curds. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've learned about that since I've been here too. Yeah, Midwestern thing. Yeah.
Oh man, that's so good. All right, so they pick you up from the airport. You get to campus. What was that kind of first impression like?
It was awesome. It was just like you could see like the tradition, the history. And like the one thing that like I think really separates Iowa from a lot of places is just like the passion for like the Hawks. And like you can just see like in everybody's face, like everywhere you go, everyone's go Hawks, go Hawks. Like everyone's talking about, all right, what's the Hawks game? And it doesn't matter like what sport it is, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's like basketball, football, soccer, like whatever it is, everyone's like, go Hawks, go Hawks. Like, and it's just the tradition, the passion, like how many people care about it. It's like, it's just really special and cool place. It's like, feels like everyone's family, like you're a Hawk.
Yeah, definitely. Even when we've just noticed, like when you're going out of the state, like you're in an airport somewhere,
Yeah.
you don't even know where, and you've got a Tiger Hawk on your shirt, you're going to come across somebody that's like, hey, go Hawks.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
"What? Like, where'd you come from?
Exactly.
Yeah, they're everywhere. That's super cool. And obviously seeing how many people travel for even like
Yeah.
your away games and stuff,
Yeah.
that's got to be kind of cool too.
Oh, it's insane. Like when we were at Wrigley last year, did you guys make that one? Or?
We did not.
No.
We wish we could have.
Yeah, we
but-
were at Wrigley last year, and then like we're on the goal line trying to make a stand, and all you're hearing is like, "Let's go Hawks!"
right.
And like we're in Chicago, dude. Like this is technically you got the white jerseys on, so
Right.
but
Right.
it was awesome. You know, it's just you get outside, and it's like you have a Hawk walk at Wrigley,
Mhm.
so it's pretty much it was really cool. You know, what I mean, the fans they travel. I mean, it was fun. Like even at Minnesota this year, like at the end of the game, you could hear like "Let's go Hawks."
Yeah.
And they're gonna let them know about it as you go over and get the trophy.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
gonna let them know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But on the topic of like bowl games we were talking about before, if you're going to a warm bowl game, you're going to see a lot of Hawk fans too.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
obviously it's December.
Yeah.
It really stinks here in December. And so they're like, any excuse to go down and watch the Hawks in warm weather, we'll be there.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
It's packed.
I think it was even in Indianapolis when we went to the Big Ten Championship in 2015. I think they sold out a Busch Light the day before the game.
Yeah. Like the
Yeah.
whole downtown
Like
area.
it.
Yeah, those Hawks, they can drink too.
That's
Best
for
believe
sure.
that.
That's a fact.
What was your first impression of Coach Ferentz?
Coach Ferentz is just such a good person. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like one of those people where you just get happy and you get excited and somebody you want to pour your heart out and play for.
Mm.
It's like we have our morning workouts at like 6 a.m. lifts and stuff like that. And he's in the workouts just like, not like working out with us, but like he's just shaking everybody's hand. He's like letting everybody know, like, hey, how you doing? How you feeling? All this stuff like that. Like he doesn't have to do that. He's a head coach at Iowa. Like he has a million other things that he has to do, but he makes it a point to just call everybody by their name, really like relate to and like emphasize with everybody.
Mhm. All right. So golfing. That's
Yeah.
kind of like a big thing on the team.
Yeah.
That never
that
really,
too.
at least when you were playing, it didn't used to be. And now it's like everybody picks up a club at some point.
Yeah.
I mean,
Good or
some
bad?
guys play it. I just
You know? Don't you feel like it's a big thing? Like a big like,
yeah, I
culture
feel like
thing?
everybody like in the off season is like, all right, let's go golf. Like, let's go play.
Yeah.
who would you go play with?
So I play with Jay, Fish, like Herkett, Lojo, and Quinn Schulte.
Y'all are all, except for Quinn, all too big to be golfing.
Quinn catching a stray.
Well, he's like an actual like athletic fit. I guess you're not. I mean, you're not like 280
Yeah,
like
no.
Logan Jones.
No, I
Logan
agree.
Jones
Quinn-
like 3 bills. He doesn't need to be.
Yeah, Quinn's a little guy anyway too. Though, so
Jeez.
I love
No one's
Quinn.
going to come on the podcast anymore. They
We've
just
already
get
had Quinn.
beat
We've already had
down.
Logan. We're set. We already have Mason. We're set.
all good. But Quinn, like we play those guys, and
You play a thing by most of the time.
well, I played there once or twice.
That's a tough course.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough course. But we play like Brown Deer.
Okay, yeah.
Just all those places. I feel like there's one other spot.
Pleasant Valley, maybe.
Pleasant Valley. Yeah, there it is.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it was super fun just going out there. Like we play 3v3 and just compete, talk a little trash, and it's awesome.
Is Jay a good golfer?
Jay tries his best.
Are you? Who's better at golf? You or Jay?
I'm better than Jay at golf. I'm not a really good golfer, but Jay will be better than me in the long run because he wants it more. Like his dude watches golf videos all day. All he does is like trying like wants his swing to be perfect. He plays golf video games, all this. So he wants it more than
That's
me.
hysterical.
I just played a little bit longer.
Mm.
But he's gonna be better than me because after he's done playing ball, which hopefully is in a long, long time,
Right.
he's gonna put the time and the effort into his craft.
You're gonna find him on the tour at some point.
I'm not
Senior
gonna go
tour.
that far.
Senior tour.
What was that, 55? Senior tour.
Senior tour.
Yeah. When did you get into golf?
COVID.
Oh,
So that was
really?
like the only sport that like we could play. So my mom and I would go to like this like range and we just get like a bucket of balls and then I just start chipping away.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's actually really cool.
Yeah. It was super cool.
Did you get lessons or anything? Or just, is it one of those things that golf is like, if you're naturally athletic or like a little bit athletic, you can kind of pick it up? Is that?
So Kyle, he had always golfed. So like him and his dad, they would like help me out with my swing, like try and teach me some stuff. And then like I just like look on TikTok a bunch for like stuff like that just to help me out with my swing. But I mean, I was garbage. They would make fun of me a lot. But it was super fun though. You know, it was just one of those things where you can get out and anything to get out the house and still social distance and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I think natural athleticism does help with golf.
I feel like it has to a little bit. Yeah.
To a point.
I don't know.
I mean, you see like John Daly and like Charles Barkley go out there, like
Yeah.
Charles Barkley swing hurts.
I've seen your guys' videos of like, oh, we all went out to Pin Seekers, like for like camp to all hang out. And
Yeah,
it's like some guys
that's
step
true.
up and you're like, oh, it's a nice swing. And some guys you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like me swinging a glove, which is not pretty, by the way. So maybe it's a little mixture. It
true.
must be a mixture of both.
That's true.
Yeah.
Gotta have a little bit of, yeah, that's funny. Cool.
You've already graduated. So what'd you graduate with?
Oh, yeah, we didn't say that.
So I graduated with a business degree in marketing and IT, specializing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're done, you're like 48. You're fresh out the league. What is it?
48.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. You're about-
Oof.
Your shoulders are just a little, they're a little crooked.
What do you want to do with it?
So I kind of go back and forth. You know, I feel like I worked hard academically, so I kind of want to get into that corporate setting and just feel it out for a little bit. But then at the same time, I also like love football and I love the X's and O's. So I do kind of like want the coaching and the challenges of that.
Sure.
Um,
Did you do it at the college level or the high school level? Very different.
very different. So I mean, I feel like that determines probably like where my bank account is.
Sure.
But no, I think college and high school are both super special. I think it's like you got to figure out whether in high school it's like more developmental, and then college at this rate, I mean, who knows like where college football is going to be in the next couple of years. So it's just kind of feeling that out. I think ideally like high school probably would be like the best, but we'll see.
And so you can kind of have a bigger impact.
Yeah, like
Less-
my high school coach is like one of my biggest idols. So it's kind of like I look at him and hopefully like if I was a high school coach, I could be like him.
Wow.
But but college coaches, I mean, it's super fun. Like you get to play in these huge environments.
Right.
Like Coach Wallace's job just seems so fun to me. So
Well, just yell at you guys all the time?
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Just yell at kids.
Just Oh, that's great. Okay. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm good now. I just want to have that.
Well, Nick, we really do appreciate your time. This has just been so wonderful
This was
to
a
get
great
to know
time.
you better and just take a couple of shots at some guys. That's what came in here for.
Oh, I love those
today.
guys. I love those guys. They know it. I wouldn't say it. I would say it to their face.
Absolutely. But no, it is really cool just to have guys in here and just hear you guys talk about like your brotherhood and your relationship just inside and outside of the complex and off the football field and all those types of things. Like it's just really special. Everybody's got something to say about somebody else in a good and like fun poking way, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just really cool to see. So yeah, and we're just glad you're with the Hawkeyes now.
Yeah, I love being a Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we love having you here and again, just appreciate your time.
And best
Thank
of
you,
luck on
guys.
Friday.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.